So imagine if you had special powers and you just didn't realise it. Well, you do, and you have no idea. At the moment, there's a lot of people struggling out there due to the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And they don't realise that they have everything in their power and inside themselves to change whatever aspect of their life that they want to. And it's a real shame. That's been kind of beaten out of us. That's been taken away from us over the years, over the decades, over the centuries. But you can change whatever you want. You're more powerful than you could ever imagine. And that comes from who we are, the species that we are. We're the most powerful species on the planet. We're the most powerful species that there has ever existed on this planet. And just think about that for a moment. It's really incredible. We started out as another animal on the savannah, another creature that was hunted by lions and tigers and hyenas, and then there just came a moment where individuals of our species started to figure shit out, like figure things out and think, so if I do this, the predators don't come after me, or if I build this, then it's more comfy for us to sleep and it's out of reach of danger. And so there was just a point where, as a species, we threw off the shackles of nature. For whatever reason that was, and it's debated by scientists all around the world. But we kind of said, okay, we're no longer subject to these laws anymore. Kind of the laws of the jungle. Of course, we're subject to the laws of nature, but we're no longer subject to the laws of the jungle. Eat or be eaten, kill or be killed. The fittest survive, because we started to move into an epoch where it wasn't just the fittest survived anymore. We looked after our sick and our young, and that was a major part of our species. But there are other species on the planet that do that at the moment. But we started to develop things that other species just did not have. The ability to plan ahead, to know that there's a future. Now, whatever the reason is for these changes to our species is contested, and there's so many theories that anthropologists are grappling with and trying to understand why us. Why us? Because I don't know if you understand the incredible power that we've developed, our superpowers that we've developed as a species and as individuals. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand what it means that we can plan and we can plot and we can strategize and we can empathize and we can figure out the solution to problems? I don't think people ever just take a moment and just understand the magnitude of what actually happened to our species. I don't think people realise, because it's almost unbelievable. Because can you imagine any other species going through that change on our planet to the point where they can control the rest of the planet? And you're a member of that species. You're blessed with the gifts that our ancestors evolved for us. And you've got all of those things that our ancestors developed, those defenses, those being able to create weapons to defend themselves against other animals or against other members of our species, to set traps, to create traps, to create fire, to build shelters. All of these things contributed to the incredible species that we are. But it's, as I say, it's almost unbelievable, because you can't all of the species are members of the ecosystem and the food chain, and they play their role. And it's almost unbelievable to imagine another species completely becoming so advanced that they can step outside of that food chain and control the food chain. Not just be the top of the food chain, but control it and mold it and grow things and manipulate nature to their advantage. It's almost unbelievable. Like if you were to, it's only because we're humans that you can comprehend it. Think about that. So if I try to explain to a chimp or a dolphin that are highly intelligent animals what humans had gone through and what humans were capable of, they wouldn't understand. They just wouldn't get it. They just wouldn't get how we can pass stories from one generation to the next, and we're still learning about something that happened 2,000 years ago. They wouldn't be able to comprehend it. The most that they can do is pass down, I would imagine, culturally. I think there's some kind of debate about culture also, that some species can pass things like song. So some dolphins and whales and things like that pass song on from generation to generation, and some elements of chimp culture they pass from generation to generation, but not to this magnitude, not to what we're genuinely capable of. We're unique. You're unique. So within our species, you're unique. But the power that we have is very much brain driven. So everything that we aspire to do and everything that affects us now isn't physical anymore. We don't lose in the game of life based on our physical attributes anymore at all. Nobody can tell me one example, and I challenge you to drop me a comment if there is an example of this. But nobody can challenge me on there being an activity in human life that is won and lost based solely on physical attributes. There isn't one. Everything that happens to us is mind-based. And so one of the reasons that we became such a super species on the planet was brain growth. It gave us the ability to understand things that weren't understood before, that went beyond instinct, problem solving, thinking about the future of our ancestors or our relatives, or it gave us more time to consider things. Because we were no longer a prey item, now we could sit back and we could think about things and we could dream. So we then started to say what was over the hill, what was the other side of the jungle. And so this power that we all possess it's inside all of us, but it's been forgotten because everything that we do is mind, is mental. A lot of it's been forgotten. And it's that kind of abstract thinking that allows us to step outside of our physical being. Because we're no longer running to hunt. We're no longer doing any of that. We're able to plan, and we're able to strategize and come up with solutions. And so the idea of abstract thinking is really powerful to our species and makes us what we are. The abstract thinking being something that we may not know to be true, but that we suspect is true. So giving an example again of primitive humans, it may have been that or it would have been at some point a human ancestor of ours would have thought to themselves, I see the herds of antelope flowing down through this valley. And they always cross this same part between these rocks, between these cliff faces, or between these trees or whatever else. I suspect that if I dig a hole on that path and I cover it with a loose layer of sticks and leaves so that they don't know that the hole's there, I suspect, although I've never seen it happen, I suspect that when they walk over it, they fall down. And so that individual thought abstractly and thought, well, it's not just almost. I'm not just thinking kind of the floor now. The floor is the last thing that exists. I'm now kind of getting a bit more three-dimensional, and things that kind of the other animals won't understand. And so it's that development. And so we've got this huge capacity as a species for problem solving and figuring stuff out. And again, I think maybe we're losing that. People who feel trapped and stuck in their life at the moment, and yes, I know that COVID's terrible, and yes, I know that lockdowns are horrible, and yes, I know that the economy's not good, but just understand who you are. Understand the essence and the power that may lie dormant inside you. Once you can harness that and understand it, then whatever issues you've got going on become trivial and you can fix them very easily. You've just got to figure it out. I mean, there's still tribal people today who live this way of problem solving, of setting traps, of hunting, of collecting fruits and nuts and berries and roots from the forest, from the jungle, from the plains. There's people who live like this today, and they live happy. Like we paint that picture of them being primitive, but far from it. They use all of the same instincts and all of the same problem solving that we use, and they're happy. I mean, would you be able to live in a jungle, do you think, and live off the land and work out ways to find water? And would you be able to do it? And if you're saying no now, and when you really think about it and you think, no, I couldn't, then that's something special. That's a special power that they have. Because if you were dropped, so I'm comparing problems that you may have in your life to those real problems of survival that more primitive cultures around the world face on a day-to-day basis. If you were dropped into the area where they live, that would be a major problem for you. And you'd think, God, like, I'm in trouble here. I'm in serious trouble. But to them, it's not. Because they've not convinced themselves that they're in serious trouble. Yes, they're used to their environment, but to them, it's nothing. It's not, because they don't limit their capacity for figuring it out in real time, day to day. And that's one of the things in the modern world that many of us have lost the ability to do, is to adapt to the situation that we have in front of us. And that's what we need to do more of. I mean, I love when I was in Colombia, I love kind of traveling through remote areas and figuring it out. I love it. Connecting with people who are very different to you, but their essence is identical. I love that. It's amazing. And people need to do more of that, get outside of the bubble that they've created in their minds. So having that survival instinct is really powerful. Don't let it be boxed in and closed down inside you. That survival instinct is huge. But what human survival instinct, where it differs from animal survival instinct, is it's not just survival, it's thriving, which is amazing. We don't just survive. Our instinct doesn't allow us just to survive. Our instinct as humans allows us to really thrive and grow huge cities and that we build, and these communities and societies, and like This is why there are theories that originally we were seeded from another planet, not from here, which I love. I love to think about and love to kind of fantasize about and allow myself to dream about that. Because it seems at times it does seem about as valid as some of the other theories for why we suddenly went from another species in the ecosystem or the food chain to being the most dominant species that's ever existed on this planet. It's just it's incredible. It's it really. I mean, you've got to put your existence into context. That's the bottom line. Like, we have one life, but we're living the life as a just an incredible being, a member of a species that can control now pretty much everything that goes on, from the biological to technology to society, just everything. It's unbelievable. So that's why I say you're more powerful than you can even imagine. I'm more powerful than I can even imagine, and I feel like I have a very open mind and a very it's not closed at all. I'm able to find solutions to pretty much anything that happens in my life. So, but I still think that I can go further. I think my mind can be pushed even further. I sometimes feel that I'm a little bit like I allow things to, and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I allow things to get difficult for me because regular life's too easy. So I like that challenge. I like to feel alive. I like to feel under pressure. I like to feel that I like to feel that I can deal with anything that comes my way. So you are more powerful than you can ever imagine. I mean, think about some of the things we've done as a species. So I'm just putting this into context for you, that if you're kind of sitting at home now watching this video, watching this guy kind of talk some spiel, I just want to put your existence into context. You're a member of the hive, you're a member of the species, you're a member of the group, and you've got to understand how special you are. Some of the human achievements that we've made as a species, that individuals have just kind of come up with, are just mind-boggling. I mean, we've created vehicles. We've created vehicles that can leave our atmosphere. We've had to calculate what the physics, the laws of physics are outside of our atmosphere, to be able to create vehicles that are capable of leaving our atmosphere and then operating under different conditions that we don't have on Earth. Like, what other species could do that? There isn't one. I would imagine that every single other species on the planet don't realise that there's anything outside of our planet. It's the goldfish bowl theory, isn't it? That species don't realise that a goldfish doesn't realise that it's in a bowl. That's its world, and they don't realise that there's anything outside of that goldfish bowl. It's the same for many other species. They don't realise there's anything else outside of their jungle, outside of their lake, outside of their mountain range, whatever it is. But we've transcended that. We've used our incredible brains and thought outside that there's something. We've seen the stars and said there's something else up there. And then somebody's taken it further, where they've said, what if we could create something to go up there? Like, it's beyond incredible. It really is. And then think about the time that we're going through now with computers and technology and kind of Wi-Fi, even to when I was young, when I was a child, to imagine that we would be able to send information invisibly through Wi-Fi. So it's essentially just traveling through the air, messages in real time instantly, and it'll travel to the opposite side of the planet. And then you can have a video call with somebody. Like, all of these things were incomprehensible when I was a child. They were beyond comprehension. the internet and communication, like global communication in real time. I can have a conversation with somebody, a text conversation or a video conversation or whatever on the opposite side of the planet. Like that. And not, as I say, not just the telephone that was wired all the way through, but this is sent via nothing. I mean, via signals. I don't know what the signals are, but just sent just through the ether. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. But somebody's thought about that. Somebody said, okay, like, I'm a scientist, whatever. I've figured out all of these waves, whatever they are, and I think we can harness the waves and we can send the information via the waves, doing this. Somebody's thought about that. A member of your family, a member of your species has thought about that. Medicine and surgery and things like that have just never been so complicated. Like who sat there one day, which member of our species one day sat there, and somebody, please let me know who the first person was, who said, okay, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a pig heart and I'm going to put it into a human. Like, who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? But somebody did. Somebody went, right, we haven't got enough hearts for people who've got heart conditions. What about we take the heart of an animal and we put it into a human? And it worked. And so it's that crazy abstract thinking that's just allowed us to do some incredible things. Brain surgery while people are still awake. So again, the surgeons or a surgeon one day realised that they couldn't monitor the brain waves if they were to put the patient under general anaesthetic, and they could only monitor the brain waves if the patient was awake. So now they have people, I don't know if you've seen the video, they have people like playing the violin while they're doing brain surgery, because they know that if there's a change in the way that they're playing the violin, then there's something going on, and maybe they're touching the wrong part of the brain, or that a part that they don't want to touch, or so it's just we're an incredible species. Like global travel. To us now, it's very normal to just jump on a plane and travel around the world. And previously, in kind of medieval times, and they didn't even know that some parts of our world existed. So again, you had explorers who wrongly hypothesized that if I go west, I can get to the east. And because we don't think the world's flat, we actually believe that it's a sphere. So okay, they hypothesized wrongly, but because then they found the Americas. But that's like, what if the edge of the Earth was a drop off? What if it was flat? So that takes a lot of kind of, okay, I can do this. I know this. Other people are telling me it's wrong, but I know I can do this myself. I know I can do this. It's like these are the capacities of the human being, and each of those unimaginable capacities that those individuals have, you have inside yourself. So imagine if they can achieve those things, the things that you can achieve or change in your life, or just imagine. That's all you've got to do is imagine. That's all those people did, was just dream, kind of think about ideas, and then refuse to limit themselves. They didn't want to ever limit the self-belief when people mocked them. They didn't want to limit. Charles Darwin, about his theory of evolution, like people mocked him, but he was determined. His his kind of determination to really show the world what was really going on, and was just unwavering. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes, man. Lubricating the vocal cords. That's what I tell myself. That's what the wine's for. So every person on this earth has an unlimited amount of untapped potential. just completely untapped. And I'm talking from the top, from the top people in every field, in every sport, in every corner of society. The top people still have untapped, limitless potential. But so does everybody. So right down to the people who are struggling, who are suffering, and they have unlimited potential. It's just some people realise that potential straight away in their life and then others don't. And the ones who do go on to be successful, and the ones who don't get stuck. They get stuck in their lives, and they believe that maybe this is it. This is my life. I don't like what I'm doing, but this is the way that life needs to be. This is life, and I accept it, and it's forever, and nothing ever will change. And the reason is because they don't ever understand their full potential, or they don't believe it because they believe what circumstances have taught them or what people have told them. And it's really sad, and that's why I'm making this video, to kind of appeal to the people out there that feel that way. Because you're not stuck. You don't have to just accept what your situation has given you. And one of the reasons why this happens is because from an early age we have that unlimited ability to think and push ourselves and test the boundaries, and we have that beaten out of us at a really early age. So when we're at school, when we're at college, then when you go on to, you might do a 9-to-5 job, it's constantly knocked out of us. It's our natural curiosity to explore and have an adventure and all of those things is knocked out of us. We're told, don't argue at school, don't argue, don't fight, don't challenge each other, and then later on, don't drive too fast. That career's not good for you. There's no future in that. Don't do that. Don't touch that. It's dangerous. Don't go to that place. It's dangerous. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're going to regret it. And all of those influences, admittedly, that they will grind down on you, and they'll make you doubt and doubt yourself, but then start to push those feelings of those dream feelings to where you start to think about what you actually want to do and what you actually want to be. It starts to push it down deep inside you. So as I've already explained, that ability to dream and to think about something else constantly, what the next step is, what more you can achieve, what more you can do, they're essential to us as humans. They're essential. I'm convinced that they're essential to our mental health. It's so important to, as a human, to live challenging yourself and testing what's possible and what's not possible. So why is it the problem is for the people who don't eventually become massively successful or happy or get stuck in a certain lifestyle and can't change it, is why do some people realise their potential and other people don't? Or why do people become successful and other people don't? You got to think about it. And so I've come up with a recipe, kind of a bit of a recipe for why these people get to the top or live the life that they want to live. Even the people who come from nothing. And so the first one is they very early on they realise their potential. They understand their potential. And what that is they refuse to have their minds moulded to fit a certain social structure. So they imagine who they can be in the future or next week or today or going on a date tonight, imagining who you can be on that date, and they're able to project what they want to be onto the present moment. And that's really important, because if you if you constantly believe that you're not good enough, or you can't achieve, or you can't do that, then you lose that ability to be able to see ahead and say, okay, so this is what I want to visualize is going to happen, and this is what I know I have the potential for. And so realizing your potential is very, very important. The next part of the recipe is self-awareness. Self-awareness breeds confidence. And to know who you are and what you're capable of is really important in realizing potential and realizing your dreams. Because if you know what you're capable of, then you know what you can do that. So as an example, if you know you're capable of speaking in front of an audience, a large audience, or teaching to a large audience, then you know you will always be able to speak in front of a large audience. If you know that you're funny or charismatic, or you're likable, you can make people laugh, you will always be able to make people laugh. You know you're capable of that. And so the only way that you can find out those things is by doing them and finding out if you're capable or not. Some people aren't capable of certain things. That's just the way it is. Or aren't comfortable doing certain things. You can train to do it, but some people just don't want to do it. But to not give yourself that opportunity to realize who you are. And then the next element of the recipe is determination. So once you know who you are and what you're capable of, it's knowing that actually, so if I am capable of doing that, the next thing is not never giving up and making sure that I achieve that goal, because I know I can do it. So the only thing that's missing then, if I don't achieve it, is determination. So these people who are successful are always driven people, really, really determined to make it happen. Never giving up. Knowing that if they put in the work and they can push and push and push, they'll get to where they want to be. And again, there's a lot of people out there who are in bad situations, and the reason they are is that they've given up. Or they haven't got the staying power to just keep going and keep battling through and keep grafting and keep just doing. And then the last part of the recipe for kind of being successful is that the people who make it to achieve their dreams and live the life that they want is dreaming without doubt or limit. And so that means that you may have other people doubting you, may have people telling you that you can't make it, you can't do it, it's not a good idea, there's nothing in it, you can't. It's about being able to dream and think about the future and think about what you want to achieve, but without doubting yourself. Okay, so like I want to be a designer, and but do I really want to be a designer? Is that a good job? Yes, it is. Like, just dream don't doubt yourself. If that's what you want to do, dream and do it. Like there is no doubt, and do it without limit. You want to be a kind of a space engineer. You want to work on SpaceX. You want to do any of those things. Go and do it. Dream about it without limit. Because what will happen is you'll go on that. You'll head on that journey without limit. So something might sound crazy, and you may not reach that kind of crazy dream that you have. But along the way, that journey will take you in. There'll be branches to that tree, and you'll realise that actually there's something that I want more than that end game that you created at the start. So I'm going to deviate, and I'm going to go after this. But now I've got the experience of the path that I've just trodden. That's the essence of successful people. So it's realising their potential, self-awareness, being determined, and dreaming without limits or doubts. That's the recipe. Those are the things that people. I mean, get a rewind this, write these things down, and then start to like analyze yourself. Like, how many of these things do you do, or do you subscribe to? Like, in your day-to-day life, which of these things do you know about yourself? And if you don't, maybe it's time to It's time to give it a go. And as you can see, like all of those elements of that recipe that I've just given are actually things that were evolved and linked back to early humans and the things that made us a special species. So what I'm saying is you relate directly to those evolutions, to those special powers. So the things that those early humans developed initially, they're inside you. Like it's been passed down from generation to generation. That realizing of the potential, realizing that if they move to another hunting ground, that there is potential, that there's going to be something else there. There's going to be more food there. Realizing their own potential of actually our potential as a group is that if we hunt together, we can bring down larger game. We can take down a mammoth. I mean, our ancestors used to hunt mammoths. Process that for a moment. Which human, which person thought to themselves, you see those massive elephants over there? They didn't know elephants because I don't know if modern day elephants existed back then, but those huge, like oversized elephants over there, hairy elephants over there, we could feed our whole tribe if we could take down one of those elephants. And so there's evidence that ancient humans used to hunt mammoths, right? And I don't know if it's separated by time, but there was a time where they would. So I'm glad that it's got me onto this story. There was a time where, so the archaeologists will find broken bones that have healed, and they'll find spear of humans, ancient humans, broken bones. So this may have been from hunting large game. They found spearheads in mammoths, in woolly mammoths. So you come to the conclusion that the humans were going toe-to-toe with mammoths, which is incredible. So in that, you've got dreaming without doubt or limit, because you're effectively saying, I dream that I can take down one of those animals and we're going to feed our whole tribe. Everybody's going to be fed for weeks. It's going to be delicious, and we're going to... So they've dreamed without limit, but then also they've said, look at the size of that animal. Look at the size of that beast. And I believe that size doesn't limit me from taking him down. I might only be small, but I believe I can take, or we together can take that down. And then the determination came. So the determination from the group that, okay, we're going to do this. There's no backing out now. So if something happens and I end up with a broken arm, so be it, because I'm feeding my tribe and my family. So that's where the determination comes in. And then there was the self-awareness and kind of the confidence that came with knowing, well, we've taken down elk, we've taken down woolly rhino that might be smaller or whatever, I don't know. We've taken down these smaller game, but do you know what? Like, if we organise ourselves properly, we're able to take down this huge megafauna, this huge game, this huge animal, but it's going to be beneficial to our group. So each of those things that I've just spoken to you about, realising potential, determination, self-awareness, all of those things, dreaming without limits, they apply to us as generally as a species. So they don't just apply to your Elon Musk, Gary Vee, to your Richard Branson. It doesn't just apply to those people, and it doesn't just apply to ancient humans and other members of our kind of human ancestry. It applies to you because it's just inside you, just waiting to be taken out. So you hold that key. You hold that power. That's why I say you're more powerful. Like, you're capable of taking down a mammoth. Do you get that? Do you get that? Like, you watching this video now are capable of bringing down a mammoth and feeding your family on a mammoth. Like, it's there. The evidence is there. And I don't care how big or small or fast or young or old you are. That's the beauty of being a human being. That you can still take down that mammoth. Why? Because you organise yourself. you plan, you strategize, you're intelligent, you're a problem solver. All you've got to do is dream it, and then you have the capacity, the brain power to figure out how to solve that problem. I promise you can take down that mammoth. Whatever the mammoth is in your life, you can take it down. And then I've got something else to along that metaphor, which I think really resonates, is not only can you take down that mammoth, but once you've taken down that mammoth, there's something else that's inside you, and that's to not stop at that mammoth. So it's not a case of, okay, I've taken down the mammoth and that's it. Once you take down that mammoth meat's addictive. You want more mammoth meat, trust me. That is delicious mammoth meat. So that's not the end of the story. That one mammoth kill will take you to another level, where now you want to push you. So that's one kind of boundary that you've just crashed through as an individual, as a species, as a member of a group, whatever. There's another. So you'll be taken to another level then. And ancient humans did that. And again, my evidence, I've got to take a sip of this for this story because it's brilliant. But my evidence for that is ancient humans then began to not only hunt individual mammoths, but now archaeologists have found evidence that they started to hunt herds of mammoths. And so if we, just a little segue, if we look at modern day elephants, they're extremely intelligent animals. So you couldn't just, it wasn't a case of they would, mammoths would have been probably similarly intelligent. But it's you wouldn't be able to kind of just use crude methods to outwit a mammoth, and especially not a mammoth herd that has good communication. So what they would do is they would attack these herds, and they would drive them off the edge of a cliff, drive them down a gorge where they could attack them with spears from the tops of the cliffs so that they couldn't get hurt themselves. They started to figure out solutions to how to take out whole herds of mammoths. And then from those herds, they were able to feed themselves for months, their whole tribe for months. They then got clothing. They got materials to build their shelters, their huts that they used to build out of the bones of mammoths and then cover them with the hide of a mammoth. Sometimes I find it difficult to believe that there are people who don't understand how powerful they are. When you start to think about the sheer, you look at some of the people who achieve today, and some of their achievements is incredible. People who've come from nothing to be just the pinnacle of what they're doing. I mean, there's all the obvious ones, but for example, the motivational speaker Eric Thomas is such a great example of what you can achieve by never giving up, by imagining what you can become, by realizing your potential, and then by realizing who you are. I mean, he was homeless, and he says he was eating out of bins, trash cans for the Americans out there. He was eating out of trash cans. And he was living in abandoned houses and abandoned buildings and things like that. And then one day he just said to himself, "This is not me. This isn't me. Like, what am I doing?" And I think some of you people watching need to do that. Need to say, "This isn't me. Like, this isn't what I want for me. When I was young, this isn't what my dream. This isn't the life that I dreamt about. Why am I settling now? Why am I just accepting that this is it? This is my life. Misery. I'm miserable. I'm sad. So there are people, as I say, there are people who realise, who have that moment of, Christ, what am I doing? Like, I can do this. I'm like, look at me. It's me. I'm an incredible human. I'm an incredible person. Like, forget about all the outside noise and what other people think and what other people do and everything else. I can make it. And so Eric Thomas, the speaker, as he was coming up, he was a young black guy. He wore urban clothes, so he wasn't going into to go and do motivational speaking where he wore a suit and tie and he looked the part and everything else. He was like, no, this is me. Like, this is just who I am. So he was very true to himself, and he was determined, and he had no limits. He knew who he was. He knew that it didn't matter about other people's opinions of him. He knew what he could achieve and what he was capable of. So he pushed through. I mean, so life was tough. Life was tough for Eric Thomas. So he pushed and he pushed and he pushed. And there was probably moments where he thought, why am I doing this? And this is never going to work. But then he'd tell that doubt to sit back down. Tell doubt to sit down. Sit this one out. Because this isn't the time for you. Like, this is my time and I know what I'm capable of. And so that's what he did, and he pushed and he pushed and he pushed, and then one of his videos blew up on YouTube. One of his motivational speeches in kind of in a university, I think it was, and that was it. And the rest is history. And now he's making millions, going around the world speaking, millions and millions and millions. And he looks after his family, and he's a good guy. He's a really, really great motivational speaker. Hits the nail on the head. Speaks way better than I could ever speak. But yeah, it's these people are the people who've become successful against the odds. But they're not a rarity. The only thing that they have different to you is that they realise that this is the potential that they have inside them, and they realise that all they need to do is be determined and dream for what they want, and they know who they are. These are the only things that make that's different from you. And this is what you need to start opening up for now and start realising. So you might be there saying, okay, Chris, like, I get it. We've all got potential, and so, like, I've got to figure it all out, and I've got to know who I am, and I need to be a bit more go up and at them and go and get it and all of that sort of stuff. I understand that, but how do I do it? Like, I'm in a difficult situation. It's been a long time. I know I empathise. Because I know that there's a lot of people out there who feel helpless and feel that this is it. It's like it's come to the end of the line now. This is it. You've just got to accept it because there's no more fight left. And I say to you, it's not. This is just the start. Sometimes that feeling of being kind of dragged down and having no more hope left, that's actually a good place to start. Because when you actually look at your life and you look at what you want to achieve and what you want to do, there's so much more. And the steps that you can take are so achievable. So I'm going to tell you how you go about changing and how you go about changing that mindset. How do you go about realising your potential? How do you find out who you are? How do you understand what you're capable of? Like, how do you break those boundaries? And when you think about what you want to do, when you think about what you want to achieve, how do you do that? I'm going to explain to you how you do that. And so the way, like the main way that you get those things is through experience. So it's time to start pushing yourself. It's time to, when you think about something, go and do it. Go and push yourself. Go and see what you can do and what you can't do. Go and see what scares you. Go and see what leaves you with your heart beating out of your chest. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Christ, like that feeling. Have you ever truly felt that feeling of either adrenaline or fear or excitement where you can feel your heart in your neck? Have you ever felt that? It's exhilarating. But you learn from it. So it's about pushing boundaries. It's about seeing how far you can push yourself. And so you need to go out and learn what you're capable of. And the way to do that is test things. Go out, test, do things. I don't know, go out and meet people. You want to find a partner? Go out and meet people. Test things. Push your limits. Go and speak to somebody that you like the look of. And you get knocked back. So what? Okay. So wow. My heart was beating then, and it didn't really go that well to plan. But so what? Oh, they knocked me back. Oh, they didn't like whatever. It's cool. Like, don't worry. But it's about testing and pushing your limits. And make sure that you're doing it without hesitation. That's the problem. Is a lot of people overthink. Just go and do it. That's an instinctual part. That's an animal part in us that we suppress, which is to act on instinct. So you want to go and you want to start a new business. Go and start the business. Go and start planning. Go and start talking to people. Go and start contacting people. These are all things that you need to stop hesitating about. You want to lose weight? Go and lose weight. Stop. Go and make a plan. Go and make a diary now. Stop hesitating. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it now. Do not hesitate. Just do. There is no hesitation. In the animal kingdom, which is a part that still resides inside us, the raw animal, you can't hesitate. There's no hesitation. You can't. If you hesitate, you die in the animal kingdom. If you hesitate, the predator animal eats you. Or if you're the predator, if you hesitate, you miss out on a meal. And the young starve or die or whatever. And so there is no hesitation. There's just do or don't do. Just don't hesitate. Just do. Just do. That's all there is. And then if you do have mistakes, errors, times when you fall down, so like that's fine, because that's how you learn. Just go again. Just fix the mistake and go again. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what it is. You mess up a relationship. It's a mistake. Get over it. Go again. You mess up your job. You maybe you get fired. Dust yourself off. Don't wallow in self-pity. Go again. You've got to get over the feeling of not wanting to commit mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen, and it's how you learn from them. That's what tells you what you're capable of. And those are the things that these things form your self-image, your self-awareness, your determination. You have a realization of your potential as you start to achieve things. You're like, oh, actually, I got this far, and it didn't work out, and so I went again, and I tried again. Yeah. But I know that I'm capable of that. That first mammoth hunt, for example. So maybe they went there, and maybe it was a disaster, and maybe the mammoth was too big and too powerful, and beat them all, and maybe somebody broke their leg or broke their arm, and then the guy who had thought about the plan to take down a mammoth, maybe he thought to himself, okay, like, we've failed this time, but do you know what? I think if we run that mammoth up that gorge there, and we can corner it at the end, it doesn't have the room to move around and hit us and fight us, and we can attack it from above as well. So if we do that, so it's taking you to the limits shows you what you are capable of. It's like free divers and things like that. Like, for example, they'll dive down deep, and then but maybe they don't reach where they want to reach. Maybe they didn't break the world record, and they come back up and. But then as they're starting to think afterwards and kind of analyse what happened and what went wrong, they were like, actually, if I do this, if I adjust this, if I swim that little bit slower and conserve a bit more oxygen, if I allow myself to sink a bit faster, I don't know, because I'm not a free diver, I don't know what it is. But then they say, okay, maybe I'll be able to do it. Maybe next time I can do it, and I know that I'm capable of that. These are all the things that the experiences show you. Like, not giving up shows you how builds your determination, shows you how like your resolve, that you're a very resolute person. These things are born out of experiences, and this is what you need to do, is get out and push your limits. Like, if you're the sort of person who's quite submissive and don't like conflict and things like that, maybe it's time that you go and have a little bit of conflict. Go and get into some debates, some discussions with people. Like, push your limits and see what happens. And maybe it doesn't turn out as you wanted it to, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you ended up a bit embarrassed or whatever else, but then you can fix that for the next time. So you're like, okay, well, at least I've experienced it. I don't like conflict, so I don't go there again. Or I say, actually, I'm going to stand up for myself, and do you know what? I'm standing up for myself next time, but I know how to deal with that next time. This time I got a bit embarrassed, but next time I'm gonna deal with it. So this is what experience does for you, and this is why you need to go out and explore yourself. So when you go out and explore the world, you also explore inside yourself as well. And this is what people need to do. This is what you need to do. You've got it all inside you. You are more powerful than you can even imagine. It's really beautiful, honestly. So if you're unhappy now, and you're watching this video and you're saying, okay, so I know why I'm unhappy, then you need to start figuring out a bit of a plan. And the plan, like a plan of action, isn't about procrastination. It's not a case, because it's very easy. I've been there. It can become where you kind of, you use the plan. The plan is the work, and it's not. The plan is the plan. The work starts after the plan, and make sure that you fully realise that, and you tell yourself that, so that you're not deluding yourself that by creating a plan, that is the action. It's not. The plan's just the intro. The action is what, taking action is what you need to do. So you start out by kind of knowing that you hold the solutions to everything, no matter what it is. So, for example, you may not speak a language, and there might be something that you've got to do in another language, or some action. I don't know. But it might be something you need to communicate with somebody. So the natural thing for people to do is to say, I need help. I'm going to get somebody who can translate for me, or whatever else, which is fine. Like, I get that. But also there's the other route where you can say, actually, I'm going to go and learn the language. So in that, you hold all the solutions. You just figure it out. You figure out how to overcome that obstacle and how to achieve what you want to achieve. So you hold all those keys. It's in your DNA. You as a human hold all the keys and all the answers to everything. Like, whatever it is. And this, knowing that and understanding that is one of the most powerful things that you can possess in your mental armory. Because when you understand that there's no impossible. There is never an impossible. There is only figuring out the right solution. Once you realise that, there is no I can't ever for anything. Because you're going to figure out a solution. You're going to figure out how to fix whatever you need to fix. You're going to figure out how to achieve what you need to achieve. There's never I can't. When you realise that you can, but it's just that it's inside you as a human to just find the solution to anything. It's really powerful, and there's no stopping you then, no matter what it is. You want to learn to fly a plane? Go and learn to fly a plane. You want to learn to swim? Go and learn to swim. Learn a language. Start a business. You want to get fit? You want to get big? You go and work out. Go and figure it out. You're stuck somewhere. You're stuck in a situation that you don't like. You're stuck in a place that you don't like. You're stuck in a relationship that you don't like. It's not the end. You can fix it. You've got a puzzle. When we're very young, we teach children to figure out the solutions to puzzles, and that goes away over time. And as we get older, we start to not want the puzzles anymore. If there's not a ready-made solution, we don't want it anymore. And that's part of I believe of society's problem these days, is that we can't figure out solutions for ourselves anymore. We're kind of provided solutions, which goes against our human instinct. So what I would advise is the best way for you to move forward from this day forward. If you want to change your life, now that you realise the power that you possess, and now that you realise that actually you have the potential to solve anything, is you need to kind of shake off that funk, that not good enough feeling. You need to start today, and you need to say, okay, I need to just, that's it now. That's it. Like I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to live in this perpetual cycle of misery and of feeling not good enough. Like I am good enough. And let's start today with a blank slate and see how we're going to get to where we want to go to, how we're going to move out of this situation that we find ourselves in. So stop despairing. Stop thinking about the situation you're in. Stop thinking about your family. Part of getting over not feeling good enough is releasing everything that's weighing you down on your shoulders. And like, if that means that you stop worrying about your family because they don't understand what you want or what you can be, or they're keeping you down, because it happens. Families, partners, whatever, do push people down. It happens. So if it's a case of you don't speak to your family anymore, then unfortunately that's what it is, because it's your life. You can't live your life based on other people's opinions and based on what other people say is best for you. You've got to live your life. That's the bottom line. So start realising that you are good enough. Stop thinking that this is the end and there's nothing else, there's nothing better to come. And then so what I would advise is you kind of go, okay, take a deep breath, look around you, realise that the world hasn't ended. Right in this moment, the world hasn't ended. It's still going. The world's rolling on. Things are moving. Things are happening. So realise that and start to just feel the air in your body, the oxygen in your body, and start to realise that you've been living kind of in a state of thinking that everything's over, everything's finished, there's nothing more. But there is. Everything's still going. The adventure still continues. Your story, your life still continues. There's more to this. There's a next chapter. This was just an appetizer. This was just a blip, a glitch, if you will. You can do a lot more. There's more of the world to go out there and see and enjoy. You've got to start thinking in these terms and start realising that you can do whatever you want to do. Like an affirmation that I use for myself and like advise you to use kind of right now is, I think to myself, I think I am me. Nothing can defeat me. Because I hold all of the solutions, I hold all the answers. Nothing can beat me. It doesn't matter what it is. Nothing can beat me. People who want to oppress the government, partners, other individuals who want to impose their thoughts on me, or they want me to do something. They can't do anything to me. I'm me. I'm Chris. And you need to think the same. You need to think that same thing about yourself. Now you've just shook off all that kind of self kind of pity and feeling stuck in your situation. You think, actually, do you know what? I'm me. Like, fuck everybody else. Fuck everything else. I'm me. And I'm powerful. I'm really powerful. Like, I can go outside. I can go and do anything I want now. I can go outside. I can go and eat something. I can drink something. I can take something. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm free. I'm free to be me. And it's who I am. And that's what you need to start to think about. And then once you've done that, the next stage is just relax. Go somewhere quiet, relax. And now once you've given yourself permission to understand how powerful you are, and that there is inside you, there's thousands and thousands of years, if not millions of years of evolution, and that have led you up and kind of installed this operating system inside you that is just super powerful. Once you know that, go and relax, sit down somewhere really nice and quiet, and now take yourself outside of yourself, step outside of yourself. So just relax and look at your problems and look at your situation from an outside perspective, and do it calmly and without emotion. So take yourself, what I liken it to is, if ever you've seen any of these kind of special forces reality shows where people go through interrogation and all of these things, what they say in them, and it's something that I feel independently, and so it was only a kind of an affirmation from watching one of these programs, is that in difficult situations, one of the best ways to figure out a solution is to take yourself out of the situation in your mind. And so that's the same thing I'm saying to you, is take yourself out of that situation and look at yourself and say, okay, so, right, like as though it's like a little figure. You're a little figure that your bigger spirit is able to see. And so you take yourself out and you look at your little figure, which is your physical self, and you say, okay, so what do we do, Guy? Like, how do we figure out what we're going to do? How do we fix this? How do we achieve what we want to achieve? So kind of what advice would you give yourself to achieve, or to give to somebody else? So what if it was somebody else, what would you say to them? How are you going to fix this? How are you going to go and start your business? How are you going to pass your driving test? How are you going to afford to buy the next computer console, the next computer, whatever, the next phone, whatever it is that you want to achieve? Like, how are you going to do it? But do it emotionless, removed from the emotion of being stuck in that situation of not having money, being in a bad relationship, not having the job that you want, not having the career you want, not being free. Take yourself out of that and say, okay, those are the things that person over there, you, is experiencing. How do I fix it for that person? What are the things that I would tell that person to do? And whatever it is that you want to change, you can. It doesn't matter what it is. If you've got a situation that you don't believe that you can fix for yourself, contact me and I'll give you advice and I'll tell you how to do it. Because believe me, whatever the situation is, you can change. Whatever the situation is, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. I promise you, or your money back. I guarantee you all your money back. No, seriously, like, you can change. Whatever it is that you want to change, you can change it. There's no... If early humans were able to take down that mammoth, you're able to do whatever you want to do. Trust me. There's nothing too big that you can't do or can't achieve or can't get out of. So, for example, relationships. If you're my advice now, so once you've done that and once you're looking at your situation, I'm just going to give a few words on a few different situations that people maybe are experiencing, and what you need to kind of what you need to think, kind of the lines that you need to think down. Your relationship, if you're in a bad one, get out. Don't hesitate, do. You know it's a bad relationship. Get out. If you're not happy, so whatever it is, it might be a horrible relationship, so it might be abusive or whatever else, get out. You'll find somebody else, realise your potential, know who you are, Be self-aware of you're you. Remember, I'm me. Nobody can beat me. And there will be other people out there, and people appreciate and find attractive these traits that I've been talking about throughout this video. So get out. It might be that you're not in a happy relationship, so it might not be abusive or anything, but you're not happy. This isn't for you. So get out. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't waste time. It might be that you want a relationship. Maybe you're looking for a partner. Get out there. Put yourself out there. Go to bars. Sign up on dating apps. Go online. Send messages. Talk. But again, learn from the process. So don't just jump in and get yourself into bother. It's a process. So just get involved in the process of meeting people and talking to people and knowing what you like and knowing which people like you and knowing what your selling points are and all your kind of USP is, your unique selling point. So just do it. Stop hesitating. If your career, if you're not happy with your career, maybe you want a dream job, go and get it. Go and get your dream job. Be passionate about that line of work, and then knock on all the doors until you get that job. Go and get trained until you get that job. Go and educate yourself. Go and do whatever it is that needs to be done to get that job. It's so important. If you want a different job, if you're stuck in a job that you hate, change it. Go and start putting out CVs. Don't wait. Don't think, maybe I'm not good enough, or just know that you are good enough and know that you're better than settling for what you're currently settling for in your job. Maybe you don't like working in the traditional sense. Maybe you don't like the 9 to 5. Maybe you don't like working for a company. Maybe you don't like working for a boss. Maybe it's incompatible with your personality. Maybe you're kind of a real free spirit. Go and start a business. But don't say that you're those things, but then not do it. Go and do it. Know who you are. Dream without limits. Dream and know that you'll be able to do what you want to do. Just do it. Just go and do it. Money's a big one, an issue for people. If you want more, figure out how to get more money. Stop spending. Start making more and stop spending on frivolous things, on material things, on things that you don't need. All of these things are possible. You've just got to figure out the solution. You've got to figure out the mammoth. You've got to figure out how to take that mammoth down. If you want to go and live somewhere else, just figure out what you need to do to get that move. If it's another country, do you need a visa? How much money are you going to need? What do you need? What skills do you need to go move to that country? How do you apply to get a visa? What are the requirements of the visa application? Figure it all out. You don't need to stay where you are. I mean, the amount of people that I read online who say I'm stuck in a small town and I feel like I'm going to be here forever and it's not fun and there's nobody. So change it then. Don't complain about it. Change it. Health. If you've got a problem with your health, go and fix the problem with your health. So it might be that you want to lose weight. Maybe you're overweight. So figure out a plan and be determined. No excuses. Losing weight's a very simple thing to do. What's not simple is that where your mind tricks you into thinking that the plan for whatever reason isn't good enough, and that you'll have one last one last thing that's bad for you, one last sweet, one last cookie, whatever, one last bag of crisps. Those are the difficult things, but that's where you just need to be determined and say, do you know what, I'm going to do this. Getting in shape as well. You might not be overweight too much or whatever, but maybe you want to get into shape. Maybe you want to get physically into really good shape. So do it. Start going on the internet. You've got a resource on the internet where you can go and get a lot of information and kind of learn about nutrition and learn what's good for you, learn what's not good for you, learn how you're going to get in shape, exercise that you need to do, routines, regimes. There's so many resources online now. Just go and do it and enjoy that process. But just know who you are. Know that you won't be beaten. Know that you're you. Addiction. It's a difficult one because, as I've said earlier, the human brain is the boss of our experience, of our life experience. So addiction affects that in a different way because it affects the mind as well. But you owe yourself to figure out how to beat your addiction, whatever it is, alcoholism, drugs, sex addiction, whatever it is. You owe it to yourself to figure that out. And again, there's plenty of resources to help out there. But ultimately, it comes down to how determined are you? How determined are you to get that monkey off your back? To get that controlling monkey that hangs on your shoulders and kind of tells you that you need more? And like, how determined are you to say, actually, do you know what? Like, bollocks. Like, you're getting chucked off my back and that's it. And you just battle through and just be determined that that's going to be how you change your life. You're going to change and you're never going to go back to that again. So the kind of the final one I wanted to talk about was mental health issues. There are so many people today that talk about mental health and how bad they feel and the issues that they've had, and many of them are related to those points that I've just talked about. So if you can get a handle of your issues financially, the amount of people that are depressed due to finances, the amount of people who are depressed due to their job and the work they don't want to do, the amount of people that are depressed due to their relationship, their partner, they hate the relationship they're in. People are depressed because they're overweight and not healthy. A lot of mental health issues come down to essentially your inner spirit not being happy with the situation that you've put yourself in, and not being happy that you have accepted that this is it and this is the way that you're going to be. That's where a lot of mental health issues today come from. And those are the things that you can change. It can all be changed. The things that can't with mental health, and there are issues that that people have with mental health that aren't related to the things that I've mentioned. And if you feel like you're out of control, then please, my advice is please seek some professional help. Better help than I can offer you right now. So there are people in that boat, and you do need to kind of get that support. But I promise you, if you start to fix these little elements in your life that you're not happy with, you're going to feel so much better, so much lighter, so much happier. You wake up in the morning feeling alive and feeling invigorated and just happy to be alive. Just this is you're so powerful. It's incredible. You need to know now how powerful you are. It's just we're alive, and we've got this one life. We've been given this one life in this one moment of human history that's just incredible, and we've got packed into our body and into our mind and into our soul all of this information, all of this power and all of this ability and all of this capability and capacity for incredible things. So don't let that go to waste. Especially if you're a young person, please, I need you to listen to me right now. If you're a young person, I need you to go out there and just experience the world. Push your limits. Go and kiss that boy or that girl at a party that you were thinking of kissing, but don't hesitate. Just go and do it, because that experience, whatever the outcome of that experience, it's going to teach you something. Go and experience arguing with somebody, fighting with somebody. I know people are going to say that this isn't the best advice, but it is, man. Like, go out there and explore what you're capable of. Because it's only when you explore what you're capable of that you know the things that you really want to do and the things that you need to control and you need to harness, and that energy. Go out and do that. You can be absolutely anything that you want in this world. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. You can be a big CEO of a huge corporation. You can be an athlete. You can be a Hollywood star. You can be a singer. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. And unfortunately, you're going to meet people along the way who are going to say that that's not possible, but it is. It is. You need to go and experience the world. Go and experience what it has to offer. Push your boundaries. For me, it's the single most important thing that you can do is go out and experience the world in all of its glory. Experience the good, experience the bad. These are the things that are going to lead you to realise your potential, to learn who you are, what you're capable of, to forge that determination to succeed, and to know that you're gonna achieve what you want to achieve. And for God's sake, just never stop dreaming. Do not ever stop dreaming or allow anybody to tell you that you can't dream. There are no limits. Don't doubt yourself. And I think that kind of the last thing that I would say is that I want to leave with you is when you come to a problem in your life, whatever the problem may be, figure out how to take that mammoth down, because there's always a solution to every problem. So that's the end of my the episode this week. Please let me know what you think. Comments are always welcome as usual. And let me know what you think. Hopefully I can help people, and if people are struggling, if there's anybody struggling, get in touch and I'll help you on a one-to-one on a personal level. If you want to know what you can do about your situation, I'll help you find that solution. It's not a problem. So please subscribe, as always, on YouTube. Click the little bell notification so that you get notified when I upload the new episode. I upload them kind of every Friday and Saturdays. One of those 2 days, so look out for it. Come and connect with me over on Periscope, which is at Chris Russell Hosp. At Chris Russ Hosp over on Periscope, and I occasionally do a live over there where people can talk to me. And also go and check out my Facebook page, Chris Russell Drinks, over at Facebook, and I post a lot of my stuff on there as well, and some exclusive stuff over there as well. But yeah, so like, just you're so much more powerful than you realise. Start to explore what that power means and what it means for you, what it means for your future, what you can achieve, and you'll get there, I promise you. So thanks very much for watching. I'm going to carry on enjoying my glass of red. Until next time, thanks very much. Take care of yourself. And remember, the future is yours. Remember who you are. Remember, nothing can beat you. And you're going to find that solution to that mammoth. Cheers.